Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? Here on this beautiful Monday night, it is the last and final show of the Shark and the Gun Knowledge for College review show. I am, of course, Gunspix, aka the Gun, aka the Point Guard of Podcasting, aka self-proclaimed CFB GOAT himself. Well, not this season. I have had one of the worst seasons of my life. However, we are still making bank over 4-year period, and we will take that profit all the way to the bank. You guys have been following along all this time. I appreciate all you guys that have been following us through this entire journey. We will continue to grow. We will continue to prosper, and we will continue putting out the most electrified content on the planet. Of course, we got NFL playoffs coming up. We finished the year very strong in that too. So thank you all for following along. Make sure you get into the chat here. I got the chat wide open, and I want to hear your thoughts on today's game, the national championship. That's what we're here to talk about today. It is Michigan. It is Washington. Just want to say thanks to everybody that has followed along today. So let's put on the Macho Man glasses one last time, and let's talk a little ball, shall we? Let's talk about this game. Winner takes it all for all the Bucks. We don't have to deal with an SEC team this year. However, good matchup nonetheless. We got Washington versus Michigan, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and these guys will be in the same conference next year. And now we get to see a little bit of a preview of what it's going to be the new Big Ten tonight. But before I give a pick, I got a few looks on this one. I'll talk about everything. I'll talk about the side, talk about the total, I'll talk about the halves. Let's talk about Michigan on this one. 14-0 straight up, 8-5-1 ATS, and off a nice, beautiful win in comeback fashion. 27-20 overtime over Alabama, holding Alabama to 288 yards of total offense, plus 63 net yard average for the game. Now you got Washington on the other side of the ball, 14-0 straight up, 7-6-1 ATS, and off a close win themselves. Narrowly winning versus Texas, 37-31, putting up 532 yards of total offense in that game, giving up 498 to Texas with a plus 34 net yard average for the game with a +1 turnover ratio. Make sure I call out my guys here. Exact in the chat. It says Huskies once again devalued. What else is new? Then you got Tim in here saying go blue. I'm talking to the chat tonight, so make sure you get into the chat. Let's talk to everybody here. But let's talk about these two teams. I'm going to break these down. This is going to be a very dissection of this game because it's only one game on the board tonight. Michigan's offense. Let's look at that. From the rushing perspective, they put up 159.6 yards per game, 4.3 yards per carry, ranked 60th in the country in both statistics. In the passing game, they only put up 219 yards per game in the passing, ranked 71st in the country, but they put up 9 yards per attempt when they do pass, which is ranked 14th in the country. Their offensive sacks are decent. They only give up a 5.6% sack rate to their opponents, ranked 42nd in the country. Their rush to pass ratio is 59% to 41%. That is run versus pass. They also put up 0.569 points per play. Third down conversion percentage, 44.79%, and red zone scoring percentage, 87.7%. Now you got to look at the offense for Washington. Everybody says they have one of the best offenses in the country, and I tend to agree, but I think they're a little bit one-dimensional in a lot of statistical categories. Look at their rushing offense. 123.6 yards per game rush, 100th in the country. 4.4 yards per carry on the ground, 49th in the country. But when you look at the passing game, they're absolutely electric, right? 350 yards per game passing, first in the country. 9.4 yards per attempt, 8th in the country. Their sack percentage is one of the best in the country. Only give up a 2% sack rate to their opponents. Their rush to pass ratio is 42% run, 58% pass, 7.2 yards per play, 0.569 points per play, which is virtually identical. It's actually identical to what Michigan is putting up. Their conversion rate on third down is 46.5%. Got a little bit of an edge there over Michigan. And their red zone efficiency is 85.9%, which is a little bit lower than what Michigan does. Look at the defensive side of the ball, a little bit more lopsided because we're dealing with a Michigan team that, quite frankly, is one of the best defenses in the country. Defensive rush, they only give up 93.1 yards per game, 7th in the country, and 3 yards per carry, 7th in the country in both statistics. The defensive pass, they only give up 150 yards per game in the passing game, second in the country, 5.8 yards per attempt, fifth in the country. Granted, they didn't play a lot of good passing teams this season, so take that with a grain of salt. Defensive in the sack percentage, 9.5% sack rate, ranked sixth in the country. Opponent points per play, which I like to look at this statistic, 0.172 points per play to their opponents. Third down conversion, their opponents only convert 30.2% of their third downs, and their opponent red zone scoring percentage, 76.19. Then you look at Washington's defense on the other side of the balls. Defensive rush ranked 41st in the country, only giving up 137.1 yards per game on the ground, 4.4 yards per carry, which is ranked 82nd in the country. Defensive pass, they're actually pretty leaking sieve when it comes to stopping the pass, giving up 267.1 yards per game passing, which is ranked 121st in the country, 6.6 yards per attempt, 22nd in the country. So they do keep everything in front of them. They just do give up a lot of passing attempts, completions, and yards. Opponent's points per play is 0.331 points per play. So that is double what Michigan gives up. And then you look at the third down conversions given up to opponents, 39.9%, which in comparison is 9% higher than what Michigan gives up. And opponent red zone percentage, 84%, which is 8% higher than what Michigan gives up. So really the defensive edge goes to Michigan. I give the offensive edge to the passing only. I think this Washington team's one-dimensional, an edge there. But the scoring and the conversions and the red zone scoring percentage, I give a little bit of an edge to Michigan on the offensive side. Key to this game, basically, and I'm telling you this right now, Michigan's defense got to stop the passing attack for Washington. If they're able to make stops, get in front of guys, make a lot of incompletions, drop balls, what have you, make it very difficult for Penix to get the ball down the field in the air, they will be able to control this game however they want, because the running game for Washington is pretty much non-existent because they don't really use it that much. But when you look at Michigan, they're second in passing yards per game, fifth in passing yards per play defensively. So they are one of the best in the country. So I had to go back and I looked at every single matchup that Washington has faced this year. And I'm telling you, Washington has not seen a passing defense to this caliber all season long. And let me tell you why. I'm going to go down their whole entire schedule. So you go against Boise. Boise's 115th in yards per game, 112th in yards per attempt. And this is just passing stats, folks, passing defense. Tulsa, they faced them, 131st in yards per game passing, 126th in yards per attempt. Michigan State, 98th in yards per game, 106th in yards per attempt. Cal, 127th in yards per game, 88th in yards per attempt. This is all passing stats, folks, passing defense. Arizona, 89th in yards per game, 62nd in yards per attempt. Oregon, 65th in yards per game, 10th in yards per attempt. And they had their number all season long. That's probably the best passing defense they faced all season. Arizona State, 124th in yards per game, 80th in yards per attempt. Stanford, 133rd in yards per game passing, 21st in yards per attempt. Then you got USC, 93rd in yards per game, 87th in yards per attempt. I could, the list goes on and on and on, and I can just go right down to Texas, who they face. And this is something that I missed, and this is my fault for taking Texas. Texas's pass defense is absolutely abysmal. They're ranked 105th in yards per game, 54th in yards per attempt, and 76th in sack percentage. So this is not a good defense that everybody has been boosting them up to be. And we fell into the trap last week. And knowing that now, I know who Washington is. They are very good because they go against passing defenses that give up a lot. You're not going to have that with Michigan today, folks. Then you look at Washington. They've just been taking advantage of poor passing defenses. That's what I came up with this one. You look at the rankings: 115th, 131st, 98th, 127th, 89th, 65th, 124th, 133rd, 93rd, 79th, 90th, 89th, 85th, and 105th. That's who they face as far as passing defenses in the country. And this Michigan defense is ranked second. Okay, so take that in for a second and understand what the process of my thought is going into this game. I think Michigan is going to go in here and take control completely. and they're going to have to do it on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to have to take it to Penix. They're going to have to make him get the ball out early. Even if they don't let him get out the ball early, that's fine. You just got to be able to use those corners and use those safeties, similar to what you did against Alabama. Is you can't let them have the deep ball. You have to guard those receivers. This is the best offense that Michigan's faced all year. I get that. But I just think that this is a particular defense that Washington is just not going to be prepared for. I mean, and then we can look at then the other side of the ball. If they're going to have to run, like I said, they're ranked 100th in yards per game on the ground, 4.4 yards per carry on the ground. They're not the greatest rush offense, and they're going to be facing one of the best rush defenses in the country. So I think with all that being said, everything that's getting applied, I've looked at the stats over and over again. I think this is Michigan by 6. The line should have been 6 from the open, but I think Michigan wins this game by double digits. Okay. I think they do it very easily, and I think they do it by controlling the ball, running balanced offense. I mean, I think you're going to be able to pass the ball versus this Washington defense that is ranked, 121st in yards per game and 22nd in yards per attempt. And that plays right into what Michigan likes to do. They like to throw it short. They love to run the ball. Blake Corum, I think they get it done here. That's what the pick is for the full game. I'm going to be taking Michigan -4.5. I did get it earlier in the week, and I did post in the Slack channel. So all you guys in Slack, congratulations. You get the CLV trophy for this one because it's up to 5.5. I'm starting to see 6s hit the board. So grab the line now. It's not going to get any better than it is now. So yes, Michigan -4.5. That's a 5-unit play for me. I love the national championship game. Why? Because I can study every single statistic. I have all the time in the world to think about it. I have an entire week, and I study every little element of it. But I want to make sure I talk to the chat here for a little bit. Big Dog in here says, yeah, Texas D was not special at all. No, they're terrible. Absolutely consider. They're going to have their hands. Washington's going to have their hands full today facing this defense in Michigan. Okay, then Perky Bump says, listen up. These old school dog eat dog control the game offenses don't work anymore. It's Washington's game tonight. They are the biggest cream sprayers out there, and they shall prevail. Well, good luck to you, Perky Bumps. Much respect, and good luck with that. I'm on the Michigan side here. CPT. It'll work against the Washington run defense, though. It will work against the rush. I don't know who you're talking to on this one. Yeah, with their run defense, I thought people were taught. I could say this about the run defense for Washington. I think they're a little underrated. Looking at the stats on them, going back to their defense, I'm looking at this here. Their rush, like I said, they're 41st in the country against the run in yards per game, 4.4 yards per carry, 82nd in the country. You would have thought they were one of the worst defenses ever in rush defense. I did see that during the Texas game, though. I think they should have ran the ball a lot more than they did. They kind of went to the pass. They had a lot of tip balls. I don't want to see that with Michigan today. And quite frankly, when you look at Michigan's ratio from run to pass, they run the ball 50. I lost that stat there. 59% of the time versus 41% of the time in the pass. And that's basically the virtual opposite when you're looking at Washington. So, Free Mind says, what it do, Guns? Go blue. Let's hit the horn for that one. All right, I got a few more minutes. I want to talk about the first half here. Let's talk about the halves. So we got Michigan's take on the first half, and I like the first half on this one. It is a line correlation play. Michigan first half offense, 19.1 points per game. They're ranked 14th in the country in first half scoring. Washington, on the other hand, first half offense, very much efficient on scoring in there. They put up 23.8 points per game scoring. They're ranked 3rd in first half scoring. But the key to this one is going to be the defense here for Michigan. Michigan's going to have to turn it up, and they turn it up well versus in first half this season. First half defense for Michigan, they only give up 5.4 points per game. That's ranked 2nd in the country overall. Where Washington, on the other side, they give up 13.3 points per game to their opponents in the first half. That's ranked 65th in the country. Michigan has led every single first half this season by an average margin of 13.7 points per game. Washington has led only 10 out of their 14 games this season in the first half by an average margin of 10.5 points per game. So that's why I like Michigan in the first half. It's heavily correlated on this one. When you see the line at 5 and you're seeing the spread at -3 for Michigan, the 66% of the spread is going towards the Michigan side on this one. I always love looking those looks. 60% or above in the first half is a highly high correlated line. So I think Michigan comes out here, smokes them in the first half. Kind of a, I think they're going to be able to score a little bit more than they did in the Bama game. There was a lot of key mistakes in that one. They could have blown that game wide open, and they did not. So there's a lot of missed opportunities there, especially that botched punt return that led to a touchdown for Bama. They should have been up 13-3, not 13-10 at halftime. But we're going to be taking Michigan first half as well for a 2-unit special. First half -3. Get back to the chat on this one. Chris John Sharp says defense wins championship. Cliche, but never fails. You are damn right. And this is the same. I feel like I had this talk last year with people about TCU and Georgia. I said defense, baby. Defense. When you haven't faced anybody to the caliber that a certain defense is, you get into trouble. You get into trouble early. You make mistakes. And that's the game, folks, because if you don't have the defense to stop them, it is Dunzo City. You lose control of everything, including time of possession, pace of play. It revolves. It turns everything around for you. Defense, defense, defense. Jabaka, 42. Great segue, my man. I do have a take on the total, and I'll talk about that one here. Also, I just want to throw a couple more numbers before I talk about the total. So second half takes on this one. Michigan second half offense, 16.4 points per game in the second half. That's ranked 18th in the country. You look at Washington second half offense, 13.9 points per game. Scoring offensively, that's ranked 48th in the country. But guess what? Michigan has the best second half defense, only giving up 4.9 points per game in the second half this season, ranked first, where Washington second half defense gives up 10.9 points per game, ranked 38th. So that is a couple of snippets if you're looking at the second half. I haven't played this one officially. I think we just wait to see what the first half gives us. Maybe take a look at the second. But let's talk about the total here, okay? So the correlation on the total is if you like Michigan, you should like the under. Total sitting here right now, I'm looking at 56 hit the board. I did get it at 56, whatever side I'm on. Am I on the over or am I on the under? Well, let's talk about what these teams do for controlling the clock. You look at pace of play. Ironically enough, both these two teams are very slow and methodical when moving the football. Michigan's ranked 130th in pace, where Washington's ranked 80th in pace. So these guys take their time on the line. They're not going to go rush. They're not doing no huddles and moving the ball up quickly. They're taking their time methodically, moving the ball up the field. Then you look at last week. That's a good standard there when you look at that Michigan as far as what they give up to their opponents. Bama only put up 20 points versus Michigan. They averaged 31.5 points per game overall this season. Then you look at the team, some of the big key, I guess the bigger teams that they played this season. So you have a Ohio State team that averages 30.2 points per game. They only allowed 24 to Michigan. That was a rivalry game. And then you have Penn State. Penn State, of course, we know who they are. They were not the realest of real teams, but they averaged 34 points per game, and Michigan held them to 15. Michigan also holds opponents to 10 points per game this season and 17 points per game in the last 4 games. Like, they use the last 4 games because that was the toughest part of their schedule, the back end, and it kind of gets all the bigger teams into the mix. It's like the Ohio States and Bama. But we look at Washington. They're ranked 9th in points per game, 37.6. I'll give them that. One of the best in scoring. But Michigan was able to hold it. But the key on this one, and I think it's capable of being done, if Michigan is able to hold them to under 300 passing yards and under 400 yards of total offense, they will have a very good result. And what I mean by that is Washington will struggle to get to 20 points if that occurs, because there is samples of Washington putting up those type of numbers. Let me get into them. So they played Arizona State. Arizona State played them well. Held Washington 288 yards of total offense, 275 yards passing. They only had 15 points. At Oregon State, they held Washington to 272 yards of total offense, 162 yards passing, 22 points. Washington State, they played in the Apple Cup. Washington was held to 306 yards of total offense, 204 yards passing, 24 points. You're seeing a correlation here. If you can hold this team under 400 yards of total offense, hold them to under 300 yards passing, this this team should not win the game, because I think Michigan is going to have the upper hand as far as controlling the scoring on this one. And then you got to look at Michigan. Like I said, they held this Bama team to 288 yards of total offense last week, and they only put up 20 points. Bama averages 393 yards per game and over 400 yards per game of total offense in 4 out of the last 5 games of the season. So what Michigan did is they held them to 105 yards below their season average. And that's what Michigan does to every single one of their opponents on average. 105 yards. If you're going against Michigan and you put up 400 yards, you're probably only going to get 295 on average versus Michigan. So if you do that hypothetically and you utilize that number and compare it to what Washington does on their total offense, because Washington puts up if you take away the 105 yards that I told you that Michigan's defense typically does to their opponents, that means Washington would have put up only 369 yards of total offense for the game projected. And if that's the case, you should be able to keep them at 20 points or under in that game. And I think that's going to be the deciding factor in this one. If you can keep them to under 400 yards of total offense, which I think they can with Michigan's defense, and 300 yards passing, I don't think Washington is going to reach 20 points today, folks. And if that's the case, you have the total at 56. That's correlated. Give me the under 56. And I'll put 2 units on that one too, because I do believe this Michigan defense is legit. I think their coverage unit, as far as their secondary, to their safeties, to their linebackers, to their pass rush, is exceptional and is going to be the deciding driver in that game. I'm not taking anything away from Penix, because Penix could go out there and ball out like I've never seen a guy ball out in my entire life. I mean, it's happened in the history of college football. Emotions are everything. I just think from the numbers that I'm looking at, the stats that I'm looking at, I think the weight of Penix is going to be too much. And I think the weight of the offense in the passing game, for them to carry that team across the finish line, it's going to be too much. I think you have a two-dimensional, you have a Michigan team that is good running the ball. They can pass the ball when they need to. They have a great offensive line. They have a great quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. They have one of the best running backs in the country in Blake Corum, who's just been an absolute dog, absolute beast. He was in that Bama game. He took the team on the shoulders and carried them over the finish line. And of course, that defense just does their job week after week after week. So, yeah, I'm going to say under 56. I'm going to say Michigan minus 4.5, minus 5.5. I think they win by double digits. So just take the number as it is now. And I'm going to say under 56. And those are the 3 plays that I'm going to be bringing to the table. Oh, yeah, the first half. I'm going to take the first half on Michigan minus 3. So Michigan minus 3, first half, minus 4.5 full game. And the under 56 is going to be the plays that pay today. And that is 9 units. That's how confident I am about this one. And if I eat it, I eat it. I've had a bad season. No lie. If you fought a lot of these picks, left is right, up is down. But the bigger picks did hit, fortunately for us. So I'm very happy with that one. So Let It Ride says this: Washington in the over. He's right. Might as well just take it. I mean, if there's any pattern to my season, it would be you just fade these picks, right? So he's not wrong there. So I can look at the numbers all day long. I've been very good in college football for 4 years now. And this is one of the worst seasons I've had in 5. So there you go. Let's talk to some of the guys in the chat. We already answered that one. Peter, those are my thoughts on the over and the under. Penix has to play an absolute perfect game to even keep this close. I don't think it happens. Wolverines W. That's my thought on it. He would have to play the game of his life. And we thought we saw it last week, but then I realized that Texas passing defense is just awful. Let me see this. Big Dog says time of possession going to be lopsided with the run game. Penix stalemated on sideline most of the game. And I think that's what I'm looking for in this one, because that would really help me out in this pick. Timmy Tim says, Michigan, so disciplined. I believe Wolverines make Penix very uncomfortable in the pocket. And I think that is going to be something that I'm not really counting on too much, because Penix really, even when he is pressured, he finds the way to get rid of the ball. He sometimes gets out of the pocket. He kind of dances in. He's very professional, professional football ready for this. So, but however, Michigan is going to be the best pass rush they have seen all season long. And it's going to be very interesting to see if Michigan is able to put pressure on Penix. If he doesn't, they hit him, we may have ourselves a good slacking there by the Wolverines. Chewbacca says, thanks, Guns. Appreciate the show. No problem, buddy. Timmy says, let's do some props. Corum, 2 rushing touchdowns, plus 100. That's plus 100. Oh, my God. 2 rushing touchdowns for Corum is plus 100. Even money. My God. That's how good that's how they expect that guy to score. They're going to be a lot of points here, and I think everybody's expecting it to be in the run. Let it ride. Lock says, not fading you, just how I feel. Hell of a game. Yeah, all good, brother. I'm frustrated by my performance of myself during this college football season. It's unlike me to be have this bad of a season, but I want to finish strong. So I look at this, I dissect these games like I normally do every single time. Sometimes, you have that one outlier year that kind of, will humble you. I would say I was probably getting a little bit too big in my britches on the college side. And now I'm going to calm down. I'm going to relax. I'm going to learn. I'm going to write down all my mistakes and learn from them and take it into next year. So don't worry about that one, my guy. And there we go. Peter says, thanks, Top Guns Capper. You're the man. Hell yeah, brother. Give you the horn for that one. Well, man, let's enjoy the game. I'm looking forward to this one. It starts at 7:30. We're going to be doing playoff shows. Probably Saturday is what we're shooting for to get a playoff show going on that one because we got a full slate Saturday, full slate Sunday. Probably Saturday afternoon. We'll give you the time. Just that's why you follow at Gunspick. So you follow at Shark in Sports 88 or the Odds Fella. You'll know when we do the NFL live show. Listen, I'm going to do a recap on this one, but I believe I did surpass the 60% of my hit rate on the NFL this season. I think the Shark did as well. So we're massive profit this year, big time. So appreciate you all that's been supporting us. It's been a tremendous climb to start up this channel, and we're just going to continue to grow from there. Of course, I'll be doing college basketball content. I'm just waiting to get through the football stuff. Probably going to do more Saturday stuff that's going to be more predicated towards talking college hoops. Trying to get my feet wet into that one. We're getting into the conference play, so I'm starting to like that a little bit more. I got statistics on a lot of these teams, so that's what I look for just to get my feel and getting out of the college football funk and into some round ball. All right, but to recap for everybody that has been watching this show, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, the Shark Reporters Nation channel, and hit the like, hit the subscribe, do all that stuff. The thumb button is the biggest one on this one. That just keeps us in the algorithm of all algorithms, and it brings in new viewers day to day. So I appreciate it if you did do that. Want to shout out to the chat here. Clint says, what do we bet in Michigan? You damn right we bet in Michigan. We got Michigan first. We got Michigan minus 4.5 to recap for you guys. That is a 5-unit play. That is my biggest play of the year. And I'm putting it down to Chinatown, baby. And we're going to be doing that one. And we got Michigan minus 3 in the first half. That's 2 units. And we're going to do the under in the entire game, 56, to cap it off as another 2 units. So 5 units, 2 units, and 2 units. That equals 9. We are going to be smacking the board hard today, as they say in New England. I know you're late to the party, but I just recapped it for you. Go rewind if you want to go see the analysis. Poppy says guns up. Bang, bang. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Peter says, I've been tailing for 2 years. Nobody better. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother. It's a marathon, not a track meet. I can go through the hottest of hot streaks, and I can go through the coldest of cold. But we just got to keep the units the same. At the end of the tunnel, we reach profit. It's very hard to do in the sports gambling world. Only a few can do it. And I just hope that the information that I give you, whether you tail me or you fade me, whatever it is, I just hope that I gave you the proper information and teaching people how to cap in the process. Thieves by Law says, we'll watch and rewind. Yeah, I gave a lot of information there. Probably talked a little bit too quick, but listen, It's Michigan, baby. We're cheering for the Wolverines on every single facet. And if you want to see if I'm going to be doing some live action, go to the Slack channel in for the dad bods. It's me, it's Pun, it's Odds. I'll be doing first, second half splits. Sometimes if I see something in the second half, I'll take it myself and post it for the boys only in Slack. So there's a link in my bio. Go click on that. And if you can't get in, just send me a DM. I'll get you in. No problem. It's absolutely free to join. And all we ask is at the end of the month, just put in a little tippy do for our efforts, for our troubles. Like I said, there's 3 cappers in there, and you get all sports, NBA, NHL, everything that's going on right now in the world, NFL and college football and college basketball. All right, that's going to do it for the show, everybody, baby. And let's dominate. Let's finish the season off strong. Appreciate you. We will be back next year, of course, September, to do Knowledge for College once again. Of course, we'll be transitioning into college basketball. Probably I'll do it every Saturday, and then I'll do some daily shows as well if time seems fit. And of course, check out the NFL Circa Million show. We will be back to talk NFL playoffs this week, wild card weekend, and we'll do that on Saturday. So let's dominate the board. Let's keep dancing, like my man Jabaka said. And as always, let's keep dancing.